Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're doing something honestly incredibly powerful. We're distilling 35 years of hard-earned life lessons into a really practical, highly actionable blueprint. Why? Well, because we're talking about the kind of profound truths that just completely shatter your excuses and literally rewire how you view success, money, and your own hidden potential. This is all about bypassing the trial and error so you don't have to waste decades figuring it out the hard way. So let's jump right in.
I want you to imagine waking up one day and realizing you've spent 35 years wasting time. It's a harsh, almost terrifying reality to confront right out of the gate, right? But it immediately sets the ultimate stakes for your personal growth journey. Look, most people just drift. They spend decades on autopilot trying to figure out what truly matters through trial and error, and tragically, some never do. We get so caught up in the busy work of day-to-day survival that we forget to ask if we're even climbing the right mountain. If you skip over the fundamental truths we're unpacking today, you really risk looking back and realizing you were focused on entirely the wrong things.
So, ask yourself, are you secretly waiting for someone to save you? And hey, it's totally okay if the answer is yes, because honestly, so many of us do this without even realizing it. We wait for that perfect boss to suddenly recognize our talent, or hold out for a lucky break in our industry, or we hope a wealthy mentor just sweeps in and hands us the keys to success. But, spoiler alert, nobody is coming. The cavalry isn't on its way. And while that might sound a little intimidating at first, your actual breakthrough starts the exact moment you accept that fact. You are completely 100% responsible for your own success. Let me tell you, it is incredibly freeing once you stop waiting for permission and start giving it to yourself.
To make sense of decades of trial and error and ensure you can apply this right away, we've organized these insights into a simple 4-phase blueprint. We'll be looking at building your internal foundation, mastering the mechanics of progress, navigating the external world, and finally, the ultimate catalyst, taking action. All right, let's kick things off with phase 1, building your internal foundation, which is all about mindset, radical responsibility, and your health. The very first foundational lesson here is that your mindset completely shapes your reality. For years, society has sold us this idea that success is purely about innate talent and luck. But fundamentally, it comes down to how you view yourself when things go wrong. Think about how a fixed mindset reacts to a failed project at work, right? It immediately says, well, I'm just not smart enough to do this. And naturally, it finds proof of those imaginary obstacles everywhere. But a growth mindset, it flips the script entirely. It looks at that exact same failure and asks, okay, what data did this failure just give me so I can get better? Believing in your potential and rewiring your brain to focus on growth literally changes the opportunities you're able to see in the world around you. Building this mental bedrock also means you have to take absolute responsibility for everything in your life and completely stop blaming your circumstances. But you know what's really fascinating here? Mental resilience is directly tied to your physical reality. It's so easy, especially right now, to glamorize hustle culture and entirely neglect our physical health in the pursuit of hard work. But without that baseline energy, without eating well, exercising, and getting proper sleep, your brain literally cannot perform at the level required to grow. Physical health isn't some distraction from your goals. It is the absolute foundation that makes achieving them possible.
Moving right along to phase 2, the mechanics of progress. This is where we dive into discipline, habits, and consistency. We really need to talk about the trap of chasing motivation. Because, let's face it, motivation is incredibly unreliable. It comes and goes like the wind, depending on how much coffee you've had or what video you just watched. You simply cannot power a long-term, multi-year journey on a random breeze of inspiration. Instead, discipline is the engine. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when you absolutely don't feel like it. It's waking up early when the bed is warm and comfortable. It's saying no to distractions when they seem way more fun. Basically, discipline bridges that massive gap between setting a goal and actually achieving it.
And the sheer amount of compounding success built by that discipline, it's mind-blowing. As humans, we constantly overestimate what we can aggressively achieve in a single week. We burn ourselves out trying to do everything at once, but we wildly underestimate what we can accomplish in a year of sustained effort. If you commit to small, consistent, daily improvements of just 1%, the math dictates you'll be an incredible 37 times better by the end of a single year. Reading just a few pages daily, working out for 10 minutes. It might not sound like much on a random Tuesday, but consistency is, without a doubt, your absolute greatest multiplier. Which leads perfectly into this concept. Your daily routines are secretly dictating your future. You can set the biggest, most ambitious goals in the world, make vision boards, and talk about your dreams all day long. But if your habits don't support them, you won't ever reach them. We need to look deeper at the psychology here.
Under pressure, when you're tired or stressed, your willpower completely depletes. You don't rise to the occasion, you fall back on whatever is automatic. If your automatic habit is scrolling social media for hours to numb out, that's exactly what you'll do. But if your automatic habit is reading, reflecting, or moving your body, you fall back on things that propel you forward. You have to consciously build the habits that will catch you when life gets hard.
So once those internal systems and daily habits are firmly set, you inevitably have to face outside forces. That brings us to phase 3, navigating the external world, focusing on failure, your circle, and money.
First up is how you deal with failure. And I have a complete paradigm shift for you here. You have to completely divorce failure from your identity. Seriously, forget the idea that failure is the opposite of success. It's not. It is literally just data. It's purely feedback, a sign that you're trying, learning, and expanding your capabilities. Every single highly successful person has failed miserably. The only difference is they didn't internalize it as a character flaw. They looked at the data, adjusted their approach, and kept going. Remember this. If you're deeply afraid of failing, you are actually just afraid of growing.
Next, you have to ruthlessly audit your social circle. I know this is an emotional reality many of us try to avoid. But people who are toxic or constantly complaining, they act as massive anchors. They drain your energy and foster a negative mindset because you inevitably, even subconsciously, absorb the energy and attitudes of the people you spend the most time with. It's just human nature to mirror our environment. You must consciously distance yourself from the drainers and actively seek out an ambitious circle. Find people who inspire you, people who challenge your limiting beliefs, and people who pull you forward into positive action just by being around them. Now, when it comes to external resources, there's a massive misconception about wealth that we really need to clear up. Money is not the finish line. Don't chase money just for the sake of hoarding it or showing off. That's a surprisingly hollow pursuit that leaves a lot of wealthy people feeling totally empty. Instead, view money purely as a key. It's a highly effective tool that you should use to buy back your time, secure your freedom, and unlock incredible experiences and new opportunities. Chase a deeply meaningful life first. Focus on providing immense value to the world, and the money? It will naturally follow as a byproduct. Everything we've covered today remains completely theoretical without phase 4, the ultimate catalyst, action. Let's look at why you need to start right now.
This lesson hits incredibly hard, especially if you suffer from perfectionism. The perfect moment simply does not exist. We all know the trap, right? Telling ourselves, I'll start my diet on Monday, or I'll launch my business when the kids are older, or I'll write that book when things slow down at work. Waiting for the perfect time is a massive, comforting illusion that will quietly cost you precious years of your life. The truth is, the conditions will never be ideal. You'll always be a little too tired, a little too busy, or a little underfunded. You have to completely let go of the need for the stars to align.
The path forward from here is actually incredibly simple, breaking down into 3 clear steps. Step 1, just pick one single concept that resonated with you from our explainer today. Just one. Step 2, take messy action. You do not need a flawless 10-step business plan. You just need momentum. You'll learn, pivot, and adjust along the way. And step 3, start now. Start today. Small, imperfect steps inevitably lead to massive, life-changing results.
The life you truly want is absolutely within your reach, but nothing changes unless you move. Your future self is waiting for you to take that very first step today. So I want to leave you with this final, vital thought to consider right now. What will you do with this knowledge?